I usually just call myself an artist because it buys me a lot of latitude, but it's also not specific enough. So if pressed, I would probably say that I work with sculptural forms, things that are 3D, usually on the wall or sitting on a table or a pedestal. But they usually, as a unifying theme, they usually have something in them that is of technology or about technology, often incorporating my own electronics. So I design circuit boards, I send off fancy files and get back a blank circuit board, which I solder here in my studio. They have little computers in them that are running my software. So things that sort of are of and about technology. And I usually say this is that I incorporate and question technology because there are a lot of people who love technology for its own sake and sort of proselytize it and advocate for it and just adore technologies. And as much as I adore some technologies like running water and the wheel, I do wonder about other technologies. And so I would not consider myself a booster or a zealot. To my mind, like interactive electronics or sculptures or things that you can touch or play with, that is the sort of question of control. Like I get to play with control as almost like a paintbrush. I get to say, okay, you get to control this machine, maybe. Maybe the machine takes control back. Maybe the machine does something that you don't expect it to. Or maybe the machine encourages you to control people around you, sort of second order control effects. This artifact is pretty much as I found it as a box. Like this enclosure here is a push button enclosure that I bought in used condition from an industrial surplus parts dealer. And it was missing a few of these things, but I added them. But as this condition here, this was as decrepit as it was when it came to me, minus some grime. I scraped a lot of the existing grime off because you never know what factory goo is, and you don't want to necessarily be touching it. So cleaned all of it off, waxed it, installed a light bulb and my own guts. But it's pretty much as it came to me. So with the Pahrump Poolfish artwork, you're turning this dial and switching back and forth between this creature's last refuge on Earth, really. Mm-hmm. Maybe there are a couple other places, but that's the main one, really, this concrete refugium that humans constructed for it after we destroyed their first two habitats. And you're switching with this dial, you're switching between footage of that, and then it's now home in the Nevada desert. You get to control, as the viewer, which of the things you're seeing, and it sort of fades between them. And it does feel like control, right? It feels like you are, as you said, like you're directly controlling this natural thing, but truly you're not. This is a used instrument enclosure with a big window on the front and a dial that you can kind of turn. And what it does is switch between two clips of my own footage of the Pahrump poolfish in that refugium, which is the sort of dark green thing that you're seeing there, and then switching back and forth with a shot of the nearby desert, which is what happens to its natural habitat. I try to separate sort of the materials of an artwork from the tools or techniques that it employs. So like the materials might be the instrument case, the big metal box that makes up this artwork. But then the technique might be that you can turn a knob and it changes this video screen. And then the meaning of it is yet a third thing for me. So the meaning of it in this case is about this little critter's, last refuge on the planet. So I think of these things and deal with them completely separately. So the tools and techniques, I've got like a box full of screens, but then I have like a bunch of software that I can put into it that makes it do different things, and that's different from the material of the screen. So this piece, insert 25 cents to feel something. It is a combination of found objects and things that I have synthetically created. So the box here is a used factory floor enclosure, which I bought, but it didn't have any of this stuff on the front. So I bought this machine, this case. It was an empty case that used to contain buttons and things to control, I think, some kind of press or something, because it was super oily. Lettering here, it says things like tired, no pep, feet hurt, step up for a pickup, a tonic, a real treat, insert 25 cents to feel something. And so this lettering is largely lifted from a real boardwalk machine called the Relaxolator. But the Relaxolator was this machine where you would step on a dais and insert a nickel, and it would jiggle your feet really fast. And that would make you relaxed, presumably. The point of my artwork at a broader scale, the point of my whole practice is really to show people how things are changing and to highlight those changes and to pull out an individual aspect for each artwork and say, here's a thing that has changed, hello, get ready for it. And that might be, things that are not good, like the rise of surveillance capitalism, the way that your every moment is recorded, whether you like it or not, the locations you go to, the people that you socialize with, the things that you buy. All these things are surveilled at mass scale now. I'm not sure everyone totally gets that. and it's interesting. It has all kinds of implications for how we live. And I really want in my artwork to try to highlight those changes. That's not to say the changes are good or that I like them.